Hey everyone. So we've been told over and over that Pardot is a tool that aligns sales and marketing. And it's super true, especially when you know what you're doing. So today we'll look at a couple of great ways where we can use automation so that marketing can help sales close more deals.
Pardot Ninja.
Okay, so you can see here that for the purpose of this demo, we don't use this status, but we have created a no answer one status in the lead record. Now, the reason why we've done this, and we do this often with, it is usually for higher volume lead type businesses, or really most of the time it is for B2C type businesses where they might be getting inquiries coming through, and when they're calling, it might not be the right time for that person to be receiving a call, so they're not able to actually get in contact with the person who's made the inquiry. And data shows that you want your business to be the first person that engages with these inquiries, because usually the first business that engages, more often than not, they'll win the business. So we've got this here just as a sort of a dummy stage, and we'll explain why. So if obviously the first out of the three automations that we're showing today is sending an email to someone who's made an inquiry through a form, sending an email to them after you've tried to call them and you haven't been able to get through. When you change their lead status through to NA1, it will actually send them an email. So we're going to jump into Pardot under the automation section. We're going to go to automation rules. We're going to create an automation rule. So we're going to call it, it's a one email. And then we want to add a new rule where we're looking for a prospect custom field, lead status is, oh, okay. So this is a great, and we're actually doing an episode on this quite soon. What's happened here is that I've actually updated the lead status just for this demo on the Salesforce side in the lead object, but I haven't actually gone across into Pardot and updated the pick list here. So I'm going to open Pardot settings in a new tab. I'm going to go into the prospect fields, into lead status. And you'll see here that it does appear, but it's not activated. So that's what happens when you create a pick list value in Salesforce. You need to come and activate it in Pardot. So we sort of kill two birds with one stone here, but we will do an episode specifically on that so we can go into a little bit more detail. So now, look, I probably am going to need to, the value won't come up here, so I'll have to reload this page anyway. So I'm just going to quickly copy this so I don't have to do it again. Create a new one. There we go. Great. So we're saying once the lead status is to NA1, we're simply going to send a prospect an email, and we'll pick our email template out. Bang. Create the automation rule. Once we're ready with it, turn it on. And what we've actually set up there within the email itself, we haven't designed the email, but within the email itself, we've actually set it up so that it goes through to a form. And within that, essentially the email says, you know, obviously you'll have to get the copyright aligned with what your business is trying to achieve. But essentially what we do in our forms is we will actually sort of say, you know, we tried to contact you. weren't able to get through, to book a time that better suits you, please click the button below, and it takes them to a number of things. It could just be a basic Pardot form that has a calendar in there, or a day option, and then a time bracket. That's the most basic version, which is also quite effective. Or you can connect it with, you might have Lightning Scheduler in your business. You might use something like Calendly with an integration. However you end up taking that booking, the purpose of this example is so that you can, when you're unable to get through them via phone, you automate an email to go out once they're at NA1, which enables them to book in a time with you. And we found that really effective. The second type of automation that we often use to help our customers, or help sales make, close more deals, is using page actions. So page actions are really effective when, for instance, you might have a new inquiry come through, or a new lead come through to sales. Sales have a conversation with them. They have a great conversation, but the customer or the prospect says, "Well, that's great, but we're not ready just yet. Give us a couple of months." So sales say, "No worries." They might add them to a nurture journey in the meantime, if they're using something like Salesforce Engage. But on top of that, and on top of their tasks that they might be setting to reach back out with the lead, page actions actually can be set up so that they notify the salesperson if that lead goes back to their website. So to create a page action, you're just clicking the Add Page Action button. We'll get in here. So you might have a product or a pricing page, and obviously you'd want to be more specific than this. Put in the URL that you're wanting to target specifically. And then what you do is you notify the assigned user. So the salesperson that's responsible for this particular lead will get notified as soon as someone hits that particular URL, and it might be your services page or a specific product page. They can then reach out and say, "Hey, listen, just checking back in," and the timing will be great because that particular person would have just gone onto their website somewhere. So that's the second type of automation that we can use in Pardot to help sales close more deals. The final one is for businesses that have renewals or some sort of service contract or subscription or anything that has a renewal involved. So what we do is we create a custom field in the account record, and that could be a person account as well for those who deal in a B2C environment. So universally, let's just call it an account record. There'll be a renewal date, and we can set up some automation so that when someone purchases something, dependent on the length of what they purchase, we can set a renewal date automatically through something like a process builder. And what that'll allow us to do is we'll then be able to create an automation rule. And we would want this to repeat. So essentially what we can now say is, and the reason I should cover this, the reason why we do want it to repeat and leave it as unlimited is because this is going to apply to customers frequently, or hopefully, as long as we're getting these renewals. So hopefully this automation piece helps with that renewal process. So then we go into prospect account field. We look for a renewal date, and then we say, okay, here's another little lesson where I have not set this up properly. So let's go into the account field setup. I should have set this up as a date type. Cool. So I've created that as a date type now. We can go back into here. Create the automation rule. Renewal date. And you can see the options here have now changed. So it's good sometimes. I'm not going to pretend that I did that on purpose. It's good sometimes if some mistakes are made, and that's why we don't really edit these. So you can see the thought process behind it. So you can see now that it's a date field, the automation options are actually different. So we want to be able to say days in the future is greater than or equal to 90. And it's a little bit weird the way this works. There's no exact day. So it's a little bit, it's just a little bit weird how this sort of works. So days in the future greater than or equal to 90. And then account field, renewal date, and days in the future less than or equal to 90, which essentially means that it's equal to 90. If they both happen at the same time, then we want to send the prospect an email, which is the renewal reminder, and we can pre-fill some of that renewal information in there as long as it's sitting on the account record or the contact record. And then we also want to create a task. So we want to go CRM owner. So whoever owns this record, the relative record in the CRM, this is a high status. And then we want to put the comments in here around following up, etc. So you can create that. And you can get that going and off you go. So that'll, in summary, if you see it on the summary page, if the renewal date is 90 days in the future, and you have to set it up this way to get it right on 90, then send the renewal email and create a task for the salesperson to follow that up. Thanks so much. That's all today. So we've just shown you through 3 great ways how Pardot and Pardot Automation can help sales close more deals. I hope you enjoyed. Cheers.
Pardot Ninja.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode. We hope you got a lot of value out of it. Please don't forget to subscribe and engage with the content, because a lot of it is driven by you guys, the user. So we need to know your feedback. Cheers.